Wednesday, February 15th, 2017. This is your coffee break on the 8 a.m. network. I'm Josh Fisher in for Kate Czaplinski. Among the stories we're following today are a Russian spy ship was spotted off the coast of Connecticut this morning. New Canaan firefighters had to hike through the snow to put out a house fire. An accused Stanford Super Bowl shooter had his bail reduced, and Darien is mourning the loss of a popular motorcycle riding dog. We'll be joined shortly by Frank Granito with weather and sports. Don Eng is going to stop by to look for a look back at this day in history. But first, our top headlines in Connecticut today. The Russian spy ship Viktor Leninov on Wednesday morning was spotted 40 miles closer to the U.S. and not far from the Navy submarine base in Connecticut, according to U.S. officials. The ship was spotted 30 miles south of Groton, but it remains in international waters. The U.S. territory extends 12 miles from the coast. The Russian spy ship was currently loitering in the water, the U.S. official told Fox News this morning. That spy ship is armed with surface-to-air missiles, but its main function is to intercept communications and collect data on U.S. Navy sonar capability. Connecticut's junior U.S. Senator Chris Murphy tweeted this morning about the spy ship. Quote, Russia is acting like it has permission to slip to expand influence, test limits of reach. Questions are obvious. Does it? And if so, why? This is the farthest north the spy ship has ever been spotted along the eastern seaboard, according to the U.S. The Russian spy ship was last seen off the east coast about 2 years ago, spending some time near the U.S. submarine base in Kings Bay, Georgia. In January 2015, the ship was seen in Havana, Cuba. The Pentagon expects the Russian spy ship to sail south along the east coast and return to the Caribbean later this year. The ship is part of Russia's northern fleet based along the Barents Sea. The ship crossed the Atlantic and made a port in Jamaica in the past few weeks, according to officials. A little more locally here in Fairfield County, firefighters in New Canaan had a hard time reaching a reported fire on Monday night due to a driveway that wasn't plowed after the last snowstorm. This was on Mill Road around 10 p.m. last night. The New Canaan Fire Department was dispatched for a report of smoke in the building at 208 Mill Road. First arriving units encountered a very long, shared driveway that had not been cleared after the most recent snowstorms. The first engine got stuck in the driveway. Firefighters had to carry gear by hand and used water fire extinguishers and a hose on the property to put out the fire. Fortunately, the fire was very small and the firefighters were able to extinguish it rather quickly once they were able to make it to the house. The fire was caused by embers falling down a crack between the hearth and the hearth extension of the fireplace, reaching the wood structure below, which started to smolder. There were no reports of injuries. The homeowner was alerted to the fire by his smoke alarms. The New Canaan Department received aid from Wilton, Vista, Norwalk, Stanford, and Pound Ridge, New York fire departments. Up in West Hartford yesterday, state police seized more than 300 bags of heroin after a police pursuit on I-84. Just before noon, troopers saw a 2000 Toyota Avalon traveling along the highway in West Hartford with improper registration plates. Troopers attempted to initiate a motor vehicle stop. However, the operator failed to stop and continued eastbound, now at a higher rate of speed. The operator, 26-year-old Edwin Chevery, eventually crashed the Toyota on the I-84 eastbound exit 40 off-ramp in West Hartford. Chevery then ran from the scene, leading troopers on a foot pursuit. A short time later, he was located and taken into custody along I-84. Troopers found 46.5 grams in 300 baggies of suspected heroin, 18.2 grams of suspected cocaine, and a small amount of marijuana, both on the suspect and in the Toyota. Chevery also appeared to be intoxicated. In Trumbull, police broke up an underage drinking party with about 50 teens in attendance on Saturday. And police are crediting Trumbull's anonymous online tip line for leading to the bust. According to police, the department received information about an underage drinking party on Indian Road through the anonymous tips-off system. Responding officers found about 50 youths in attendance with alcohol containers around the house. The 17-year-old male resident of the house hosted the party while his parents were away. The parents of those at the party were notified and came to the home to take custody of their children. The youth who hosted the party was charged with supplying alcohol to minors, permitting alcohol to be consumed by minors, and he was issued a summons to juvenile court with an appearance scheduled for later this month. In Stamford, the Bridgeport man allegedly involved in a post-Super Bowl party shootout in Stamford's posh Harbor Point development in the South End last weekend had his bond reduced to $200,000 at his arraignment on Tuesday. 34-year-old Lou Genus, who was picked up at his home on February 10th and charged with criminal possession of a firearm, unlawful discharge, reckless endangerment, and carrying a pistol without a permit, is a credit to the community, his defense attorney David Scalzi told Judge John Blawy at Stamford Courthouse yesterday. Scalzi said that Genus supports a family of 9, including his 2 children, 4 of his girlfriend's kids from a previous relationship, and the woman's mother. The attorney said his client has been steadily employed as a home appliance delivery driver for the last 5 years. He has a sterling work record, Scalzi told the judge, adding that Genus had deep ties to the greater community, having spent years living in Stamford, Bridgeport, and Stratford. Scalzi asked that Genus's bond be reduced to $100,000 from the $300,000 that he'd been held on through the weekend. He has prior convictions for interfering with police, violation of probation, speech, breach of peace, marijuana possession, criminal trespass, and failure to appear in court, according to the Stamford Advocate. But Scalzi argued that Genus has had no trouble with the law in the past 10 years. But Blawy took a dim view of Genus's past failures to show up to court and set the bond at $200,000. Police say Genus had just exited the Super Bowl party at 110 Town Street when a man across the street fired at the 32-year-old Norwalk man standing next to Genus after the Super Bowl ended 2 Sundays ago. Genus pulled a gun out of his waistband and emptied his magazine as the first gunman fled down Town Street, according to police. All told, police said about 20 shots were fired that night. Police say that surveillance videos show that Genus, the shooting victim, and the first shooter all attended the same party on Harbor Point. The victim was treated for wounds to his leg and groin at Stamford Hospital and later released. Police are still looking for the second gunman from the night of February 5th. Well, power shovels and dump trucks, workers in hard hats, roads dug up, and long lines of traffic, waiting and waiting. That's been the common scene for drivers trying to get through and around Ridgefield lately. If you've been tied up in Ridgefield traffic, you might be asking, what else does the state have planned in Ridgefield? Our own Ridgefield Press was asking the same questions this week of the DOT. The bridge work on Route 35 by the Fox Hill condominiums, which has regularly been tied up traffic, will go on until next winter or spring, the DOT told the press. The Route 35 bridge job started as a $2.5 million project to cost $3.2 million. And now it will cost $3.2 million after a $680,000 change order was added to accommodate the unanticipated relocation of a sewer line. The state also has work planned in Ridgefield on the Route 7 bridge in Branchville, just a stone throws north of Route 102. It's slated to start next spring and summer, but with work done only on the weekends. And there's the Main Street project that the local committee has been working on with state planners. And who knows when that'll actually start to holding up traffic, but it's at least a year off, the DOT told the press. That's about all the State Department has planned for Ridgefield, according to John Dunham, the district engineer. You can read a lot more about this at theridgefieldpress.com. In Darien, a proposed alternative high school began to take a more clear shape on Tuesday night as the administrators and teachers made a presentation to the Board of Education about the vision and function of the program. Fitch Academy will be the name of the alternative high school, and although Superintendent Dr. Dan Brenner clarified that it is actually a program within DHS and not a standalone school. According to the presentation, students with health concerns, chronic illnesses, attendance issues, or students overwhelmed by the large high school setting, among other issues, would be those best served by the program. The idea would be for these students to be part of a smaller, more comfortable learning environment where they felt supported. Entering Fitch Academy would be entirely voluntary, both for the students and the faculty. There's much more on this at DarienTimes.com. And now it's time to take a look at the weather with Frank Granito. Hey, Frank.
Thank you, Josh. Mostly cloudy throughout Fairfield County today, but warmer out with temperatures up in the mid-40s. There is a chance for spots of rain or snow showers later this afternoon, carrying into this evening. Patches of cloud overnight, and temperatures drop down into the low 20s as wind gusts will start to pick up heading into Thursday morning. Strong winds are back tomorrow with gusts between 30 to 45 miles per hour. On and off periods of sun for most of the day with temperatures in the mid to high 30s, but with the wind chill, that number will feel a lot more like 25. Still breezy overnight, but we'll see cloud cover start to dissipate as we head for a sun-filled Friday to close out the week. Clear skies around the county on Friday, but still chilly out. Wind gusts between 20 to 30 miles per hour. An expected high of 37 during the day before temperatures fall down into the low 20s overnight. Clear skies on Friday night before what should be a much milder and warmer weekend. We could see temperatures possibly up in the 50s, Josh, at some point over this weekend. That'll do it for the weather. Back over to you.
So it sounds like winter in Connecticut, where it could be something different every day.
Exactly. We've had a great 2-week span here of 20s, 40s, 30s, snow, sun, everything.
It's going to lead to some illnesses, which could maybe lead to why I'm standing here right now. We're going to take a break on your coffee break right now. When we come back, Don Ang will join us with a look back at this day in history. Frank still has sports, and we still have a lot more news. You're watching the HAN Network.
We told Dad he could have his office back if he sold 150 cars last month.
Deal's a deal.
Well, Dad, you did it. You get your office back.
Forget it. I'm having too much fun down here. My new goal, 160 cars. Wow. Folks, if you ever wanted a great price on a new Nissan, now is the time.
Right now, lease a 2017 Altima 2.5S for only $99 a month.
Isn't it time you got Millerized?
It's all about meeting goals this year, and Trinity CrossFit of Ridgefield has experienced trainers, top-of-the-line equipment, and a newly renovated space to help get you there. Offering more classes per day than any other CrossFit gyms in the area, we cater to all fitness levels. Our coaches have a combined 10 years of experience in CrossFit, and as competitors themselves, Trinity coaches can get you ready for competition in 2017. Visit our convenient location on Route 7, Danbury Road, or find out more at trinitycrossfit.com.
Whether you're looking for the freshest seafood, the perfect steak, or want to share delicious appetizers, look no further than the Stone's Throw in Seymour. Chef Peter Haum has more than 30 years of experience creating original recipes in his American eclectic style. Our dishes are made from scratch with fresh, local ingredients that pair perfectly with a seasonal craft beer, a signature cocktail, or your favorite wine. When you visit our Riverside location, you'll feel like you're on vacation when you're only a stone's throw from home. Visit us on Roosevelt Drive in Seymour or at stonesthrowct.com. At the Milford Bank, we offer an extensive selection of lending products and services to meet virtually any need. Submit your application online in our Mortgage Web Center. Start to finish, you can apply for a loan in as little as 10 minutes. Our knowledgeable and helpful staff are available to meet with you at your convenience. To learn more about what we can do for you, stop by one of our Milford Bank offices or visit us at milfordbank.com. The Milford Bank, always there. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Wild Birds Unlimited, your one-stop shop for all your backyard bird hobby needs. Premium bird seed, freshly delivered each week. A great selection of bird feeders, houses, a patented pole system, bird baths, and a vast array of wonderful gifts of whimsy and nature. Visit us at 356 Heights Road in Darien, next to the post office, and across from Norotan Heights Railroad Station. If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN Network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier Network, and we've also reached 1.7 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to Coffee Break on the HAN Network. Now it's time to take a look back in history with Donald Lang. Don?
Well, thanks, Josh. First off, we go to 1113, all the way back there. Pope Pascal II issues a bull sanctioning the establishment of the Order of the Knights Hospitallers. Less famous than their cousins, the Templars, the Hospitallers were best known for constructing hospitals to treat those of all faiths in the Middle East. The order still exists, actually, with headquarters in Jerusalem, Rome, Rhodes, Birjou, and Valletta. To 1898, the battleship Maine explodes and sinks in Havana Harbor, Cuba, killing 274 sailors. Though the cause of the explosion was never known, the event leads the U.S. into war with Spain as anti-Spain sentiments are stirred up by propaganda newspapers, publishers, including Joseph Pulitzer and William Randolph Hearst, who popularized the saying, "Remember the Maine, to hell with Spain." To 1972, President Jose Maria Velasco Ibarra of Ecuador is overthrown by the military. Now, this is interesting because Ibarra was elected president of Ecuador 5 times, but only managed to serve his full term once. His first 2 terms ended with his being exiled to Colombia. His 3rd term was very successful. The country built 300 schools, about 1,000 miles of roads, and also enacted popular labor reform. Then his 4th and 5th terms ended respectively with a popular uprising and a military removal and exile to Argentina. So, well, 1 good term out of 5. Finally, now we go to 1965 for this.
L'étendard a été amené par le sergent Albert George Goswell de la Gendarmerie royale.
Ô Dieu tout-puissant et éternel, vous qui avez établi le principe de la fraternité humaine dans l'autorité de votre nom, qui en avez ordonné le...
Le drapeau est déplié, béni et fixé à la drisse. Il est midi.
The red and white maple leaf design adopted as the national flag of Canada, replacing the Canadian red ensign banner that you saw being lowered there. So it's a maple leaf, right? The most inoffensive symbol possible, but the adoption of the flag actually was quite controversial because Quebec had been contemplating secession. Again, they do that every few years. And after about 300 speeches and 2 years in Congress, Canada made the decision that the new national flag should not include a Union Jack, a fleur-de-lis, or any symbol of ethnic identity of any Canadian province. So that's why you have the maple leaf. That is a look back in history for today, February 15th, and I'm Donald Ng.
Very interesting. Thanks, Don, for that international look at this day in history. Moving on to some more news. In Weston, the building committee there is holding a public meeting with the architect and town stakeholders about a plan to renovate the Weston Police Station and its communications center. The meeting will be held tonight, Wednesday, February 15th at 7:30 p.m. in the meeting room at Weston Town Hall. The meeting will also be simulcast on the local Weston Channel 79. The latest plans for the renovation of Town Hall to accommodate the departments rather than constructing a new freestanding facility. The renovation design was approved by the Weston Police Commission in January. And before we get to some more news, now it's time to take a look at sports in Connecticut with Frank Granito. Frank.
Thank you, Josh. Not a lot going on in the FCAC last night as we get set for a full schedule today, but back on Monday night, the Ridgefield boys basketball team down in Stamford outscored West Hill 23-3 in the final quarter to complete a 60-46 comeback win. The Tigers trailed 43-37 entering the fourth quarter before flipping the script on the Vikings. Chris Longo scored a game-high 17 points for the Tigers, who improved to 8-5 in the FCAC and moved up to 7th place in the conference standings. Brendan McNamara added 12 points, Nick Ladati 11, and Joe Newborn had 10 points for the Tigers. Tonight, the HAN Network will be live from Trumbull for our high school hoops night here on the HAN Network. It's our first look this season at the top-ranked Trumbull Eagles as Johnny McElroy and company welcome the 8th place Trinity Catholic Crusaders in a potential first-round playoff preview between 2 of the hottest teams in the conference right now. Trumbull, who have won 11 straight, including back-to-back overtime wins, put that win streak on the line against a Crusaders team who has won 7 of their past 10 games. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. tonight, and we'll have a full preview of tonight's game as well as the rest of the schedule this afternoon for you on Nutmeg Sports. Also want to offer a special congratulations to the Wilton Y Wahoos, who won their 30th straight YMCA state championship earlier this month. That'll do it for the Nutmeg Sports update. Let's send it back over to Josh.
Thanks, Frank. Things are really heating up in the FCAC as the team sports are headed towards the playoffs.
We've got boys basketball, girls basketball, boys hockey, girls hockey, all coming up now starting this weekend. Playoff pictures starting to take shape. There are a couple of key games down the stretch now. We're going to determine those final few spots, and we'll have you covered on all of that down the stretch here on Nutmeg Sports and, of course, with all of our broadcasts.
Great. Thanks, Frank. We're looking forward to that later today. In Ridgefield, Town employee positions could fall victim to the budget acts as the Board of Selectmen seek to hold down spending in the coming 2017-18 town budget. A focus on, quote, positions we can eliminate, end quote, was raised by Selectman Bob Herbert at the board's first budget meeting on Monday night. Excluding school employees, the town's basic workforce is 188 full-time and 47 part-time positions. There are another 208 on-call or seasonal workers who periodically work some hours, such as people who serve as lifeguards or those who provide babysitting while parents are taking classes at the town's recreation center. Herbert felt the selectmen should closely review all positions. He said, I think we should take a look at that, and as the selectmen began their budget work this month, and that could be a big number, he noted. First Selectman Rudy Marconi was open to the idea. He said there are certainly things that we can do. We can look at a couple different areas, and there's nothing wrong with letting people know where we are at this point and looking at it. It's a tough budget year, not only in Ridgefield, but all across Connecticut, because of both a 2.5% spending cap imposed on municipalities by a new state law and other measures the state can be expected to take to address its own budget problems, such as reducing programs that spend state money, that send state money to towns or cities, or getting town and cities to share state costs. Facing a $3 billion deficit over the next 2 years, Governor Daniel Malloy has announced that he'll try to get towns to share the state's cost for teacher pensions, which are currently paid for by the state. He wants to shift a third of the state teachers' pension costs, that's about $407 million, onto towns and cities. Ridgefield schools have more than $46 million in payroll for certified staff. That's those with teaching certificates, which is mostly teachers, but also includes administrators. And certified salaries project to be over $47 million next year in Ridgefield. The state's pension contribution on behalf of Ridgefield would be about $13 million next year. Taking on a third of that would mean more than a $4 million bump in the town's budget. Another change the governor is promising to pursue with the legislature is to rework the educational cost-sharing formula known as ECS to provide greater equity between rich and poor municipalities. That would mean less for towns like Ridgefield, most likely. You can read more about that at theridgefieldpress.com. And in Shelton, here right down the road from our studios, the city's Public Health and Safety Commission is investigating deteriorating conditions at Echo Hose Volunteer Fire Department, the building on Corman Avenue. The commission met with the city's Director of Public Safety and Emergency Management Services and one of its volunteer fire captains earlier this month to discuss some repairs that have yet to be completed at the Echo Hose facility, which you're seeing on our screen right now. 4th Ward Alderman Jim Capra said his concerns stemmed from a visit he paid to the fire station in downtown Shelton last month when an anonymous member of the company invited him to see the conditions at the facility. Capra said that upon his arrival, he was shown the cracked floor within the facility's bay, where the department stores its emergency vehicles. He also saw cracks in the basement ceiling directly below where they park the trucks. Capra added that he perceived the perceived damages to the floor and ceiling as not only extremely dangerous, but also a form of disrespect to members of the fire company. As a precaution, 2 of the fire company's 4 emergency vehicles, including its ladder truck, are now kept at the Pine Rock Company No. 4 and Fire Department Maintenance Facility on Riverdale Avenue. That's a half mile from the Echo Hose station. The vehicles will remain there until another study determines that the Echo Hose facility on Corman Ave is safe, according to Shelton Fire Chief Francis Jones. Shelton Mayor Mark Loretti said the concerns about the floor had been voiced in the past, but after 2 studies were conducted by both an engineering company and the city's building maintenance director, it was determined by Sketzer Engineering that no major threats were posed to the members of the Echo Hose Fire Department. Something to keep an eye on at sheltonherald.com. And finally today, the Darien owners of a well-known local dog are thanking the community after Boxy the Boxer died this week. Boxy actually died on February 8th following a 5-month battle with lymphoma. He was loved by all he met, especially kids, and was a local celebrity in Darien after spotted riding in the sidecar alongside his owners, Kenny and Kathy. One of Boxy's favorite activities was riding in his sidecar during the Memorial Day parade in Darien along the Post Road. Friends say Boxy's owners would like to thank everyone who helped Boxy the past few months, from generous donations, messages of encouragement, advice, and prayers from near and far. In Boxy's memory, you can donate to the Veterans Hospital in West Haven. or to the Northeastern Boxer Rescue PO. You can get more information on how to do that at DarienTimes.com. It's time to take a break. When we come back, we're going to take one more look at weather and recap our top stories that we're following here and preview the rest of the day on the HAN Network.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with one of the largest inventories of new 2- and 4-door Wranglers. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Browse our websites, scapchryslerjeep.com or scapdodge.net to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck you've been looking for. Just 2 miles from both I-95 or the Merritt Parkway exit 44. Save thousands at the President's Day event and Ram Truck Month, now through February 28th.
I'm Frank Granito.
And I'm Donald Ing for the HAN Network.
Tune in to Nutmeg Sports Monday through Thursday, where we bring you all the top stories from Connecticut sports.
From highlights to player interviews and expert analysis, no one gets you closer to Connecticut's games than Nutmeg Sports.
Nutmeg Sports, now Monday through Thursday at 2 p.m. on the HAN Network. I'm Frank Granito.
On time, done right, safe and reliable. MrHandymanCT.com.
Let our satisfied customers tell it.
I have called Mr. Handyman for every reason, every occasion, every broken item, every leak. They have bailed me out on many occasions, and I would recommend them to anyone.
For any project, large or small.
MrHandymanCT.com.
Have a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Basketball, hockey, skiing, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark Building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Well, there's still a bite out on the water. Most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Recently renovated and home to one of Connecticut's largest indoor turf fields, InSports is a multi-sport recreation center providing state-of-the-art facilities for league play, camps, and youth programs. Sign your child up now for InSports Future Stars Basketball Academy, teaching skills on the basketball court for boys and girls ages 5 through 9. Visit InSportsCenters.com for more information on this 7-week program. And for adults, spots are also still available for our men's 30 and over and 40 and over leagues. Like and follow us on Facebook. At InSport.
Welcome back to Coffee Break on the HAN Network. Kate Czaplinski is off today. I'm Josh Fisher filling in. And we're going to recap our top stories of the day. And we all woke up this morning to echoes of the Cold War as a Russian spy ship has been spotted off the coast of Connecticut. The ship Viktor Leninov on Wednesday morning was spotted 40 miles closer to the U.S. and not far than it was thought to be earlier in the day, and not far from the Navy submarine base in Groton. The ship was spotted just 30 miles south of Groton, but it remained in international waters. The U.S. territory extends just 12 miles from the coast. The Russian spy ship was currently loitering in the water. A U.S. official told Fox News this morning. The spy ship is armed with surface-to-air missiles, but its main focus is to intercept communications and collect data on the U.S. Navy sonar capabilities. Connecticut's junior U.S. Senator Chris Murphy tweeted, as you can see on the screen right now, this morning about the spy ship, saying Russia is acting like it has a permission slip to expand influence, test limits of reach. Questions are obvious. Does it? And if so, why? This is the farthest north this particular Russian spy ship has ever been spotted along the eastern seaboard, according to U.S. officials. The spy ship was last seen off the east coast of the U.S. Near a submarine base in Georgia, and in January of 2015, it was seen in Havana, Cuba. The Pentagon does expect the ship to head south back towards the Caribbean this week. Firefighters in New Canaan had a hard time reaching a reported fire on Monday night due to snow not being cleared on a driveway on Mill Road. On Monday around 10 p.m., the New Canaan Fire Department was dispatched to a report of smoke in the building at 208 Mill Road. First arriving units encountered a very long, shared driveway that was not plowed since the most recent snowstorm. The first engine got stuck in the driveway, and firefighters had to hand carry gear and equipment and water fire extinguishers to the scene. Fortunately, the fire was very small, and the firefighters were able to extinguish it using the portable fire water extinguishers and a garden hose. The fire was caused by embers falling down a crack between the hearth and the hearth extension of the fireplace, reaching the wood structure below which started to smolder. No injuries were reported. The homeowner was home at the time and was alerted to the fire by his smoke alarms. Several other area fire departments assisted New Canaan on the call. Up in West Hartford yesterday, police made a big heroin bust after a high-speed chase along 84. Police seized more than 300 bags of heroin in West Hartford on Monday. It was just before noon that troopers saw a 2000 Toyota Avalon traveling on I-84 in West Hartford with improper registration plates. Troopers attempted to initiate a motor vehicle stop. However, the operator failed to stop and continued eastbound, now at a high rate of speed. The operator, 26-year-old Edwin Chevery, eventually crashed his Toyota Avalon into the I-84 eastbound exit 40 off-ramp in West Hartford. Chevery then ran from the scene, leading troopers on a foot pursuit, but a short time later he was located and taken into custody. Troopers then found 46.5 grams of heroin in 300 baggies, 18.2 grams of what is suspected to be cocaine, and a small amount of marijuana, both on the suspect and in his Toyota. Chevery also appeared to be intoxicated. Trumbull police broke up an underage drinking party with about 50 teens in attendance on Saturday, and police are crediting Trumbull's anonymous tip system with leading them to the bust. According to police, the department received information about the underage drinking party on Indian Road through the anonymous tips-off system. Responding officers found about 50 youths in attendance with alcohol containers scattered around the house. The 17-year-old male resident of the house hosted the party while his parents were away, according to police. The parents of those at the party were notified and came to the house to pick up their children. The youth who hosted the party was charged with supplying alcohol to minors, permitting alcohol to be consumed by minors, and he was issued a summons to juvenile court with an appearance on February 27th. Because he's underage, his name was withheld by police. So, Frank, we're going to go back to Frank now and find out what the weather's like. You're going to behave this weekend.
Yes, that's right. Mostly cloudy today, Josh, throughout Fairfield County. A little warmer out, temperatures in the mid-40s. There's a chance for spots of rain or snow showers later this afternoon, but those will pass by this evening. A little bit of cloud cover overnight. Temperatures drop down into the low 20s. Strong winds back around the county tomorrow. Gusts between 30 to 45 miles per hour. Temperatures in the mid-30s, but that number will feel closer to 25 with the wind chill. We'll see some cloud cover start to dissipate as we head for a sun-filled Friday. Clear skies around the county on Friday, but it's still chilly out with strong winds again. An expected high of 37 during the day. Temperatures falling down into the 20s overnight, but it should be warmer, milder out this weekend in the 40s on Saturday and up into the 50s on Sunday afternoon. That'll do it for the weather. Back over to Josh.
Thanks, Frank. So later on today, we're going to at 12:30 keep an eye on our Facebook page because we're going to have a little special Connecticut. Okay, sorry, the right camera. We're going to have a special Facebook Live edition, a shortened version of CT Pulse with Kate out today, and I'm going to be joined by our cartoonist Doug Smith to just take a look at some cartoons that he's drawn up this week.
It's the best part of Pulse. So
right, yeah.
I'm
so
okay with it.
We're cut
exactly.
right to the end. We're cut right to
go.
Frank's favorite part. Then at 2 o'clock, Frank will be on with Nutmeg Sports to preview to talk about the sports. We have a lot of playoff action heating up. We're going to be covering the girls' quarterfinals basketball all weekend.
We've got all the playoff races we're going to wrap up for you. Girls' quarterfinals on Saturday. We'll have all 4 games for you. Those seeds will be set after tonight. And of course, we're going to preview our high school hoops night game, and that's Trumbull and Trinity in boys basketball. Kevin Coleman will be with me.
That sounds good. So thanks for joining us today on your coffee break here on the HAI Network.